What's up, guys? This is Marrtyr from Spike Flail on Ner'zhul, and this is going to be my first video guide for mages in Icecrown Citadel. So first up, we have Sindragosa hard mode. Just a little introduction here. Obviously, you know, this is one of the harder hard modes out there right now. Some key things to look out for right here. You know, we bloodlust right off the bat. You want to get everyone's procs up, everything else going as quickly as you can. You see the Unchanged Magic comes out every time right after the Frost Breath. That's one thing you need to look out for. I'll explain a little bit more of that, a little greater detail later on. However, for the most part, ground phase, there's not a whole lot to think about. All that's going to happen, she does the little ice grip. You know, she's going to send out those Unchained Magics. Here's the grip. You blink away. It's not that difficult. There's really not a whole lot to think about during a ground phase, and there's not a whole lot to do. This really isn't necessarily a situational awareness fight as much as it is just a raw survival DPS kind of mixed match fight. I mean, the air phase, I guess you could say, is difficult. I mean, if you screw up somehow, but for the most part, it shouldn't be a problem. You'll see the blocks come out. Everybody gets marked. Everyone goes to their position, and once they're in position, the blocks come down. As a mage, I go on the far right one because I do good single target DPS. What you want to do if you're on the far right one, because of the way the camera works with the block and it blocks line of sight, you kind of need to position yourself so that you block off most of the room from where you are on that far right side. It's a little bit easier if you're in one of the middle ones. You can actually see what's going on. They're calling out on vent the area in which it's going to land, whether it's close left, close right, things like that. I suggested quadrants, like if you think back to, you know, basic algebra, being that the room is divided up into it by a plus sign, basically, and being 1, 2, 3, 4. That didn't catch on too well. Anyways, Unchained Magic, you'll see there coming out after the Frost Breath. What I wanted to talk about with that is Unchained Magic is applied at the start of a channel or the end of a casted spell. So when she's doing her Frost Breath, be ready to channel something. Arcane Missiles. You'll see me at one point in this video, after I've already done my Missile Barrage, I went ahead and did another Arcane Missiles because I didn't want to stack of Unchained Magic. You can deal with it. I prefer not to because it's more raid DPS or more raid damage that doesn't need to be there. I ice blocked that particular one and went ahead and used my cooldowns. You want to use your ice block on the first set of Unchained Magics that come out, otherwise it's not going to give you maximum uptime on the boss. If you ice block the second one, she's going to go to air phase and you're not really going to get to do a whole lot with it. What you really want to look for when you ice block it, though, is you need to make sure that ice block is going to be back up for the phase 3 burn, because that is really when you're going to want to be able to ice block Unchained Magic off. So anyways, here we go, another air phase. Everybody gets into position as quickly as possible, and you run out and start DPSing it. So like I said, Unchained Magic, not a big deal. One thing you want to keep in mind here when you're moving for everything, while it is important to get behind the block, everything is predictable and you know when the things are going to land. You can time your casts around it and try not to interrupt things. I do it sometimes, I don't do it sometimes. It just depends on what happens. Ice block damage got called low on triangle, so I swapped off the triangle, helped on triangle, and then swapped back to diamond and finish up diamond. So anyways, those are two basic air phases. The third one on this video, I get ice blocks, so you'll get to see from that perspective too. Like I said, the most important thing, again, is just going to be having that ice block up during the phase 3 burn, because you really just don't want to stress the healers out by using, you don't want any instability stacks at all, really, in phase 3, ideally, because they're obviously going to hit the entire raid and cause problems when you have Mystic buff it up. That's why you want to be able to ice block it if you get it. There are also, I think, maybe 2 or 3 at the most that go out, and being mages, you know, we can effectively ice block one, and we can always channel during our cast to make sure that we don't get it and accidentally give it to someone else. So that's pretty much all there is to the Unchained Magic. It's not really a huge deal. In normal mode, it's even less of a problem because it only affects yourself. It doesn't affect anyone else. So go ahead and kind of do whatever you want to on normal mode with that. I didn't really stack it up more than maybe 4 or 5 before phase 3, and when phase 3 hit, I wouldn't stack it up more than 2 or 3 at the most. You'll see here I get square. immediately I know where to run in position. I hit Frost Ward, as you'll notice. As soon as I found out that, you know, it targeted me, you need to hit Frost Ward. You need to make sure Frost Ward's going to be up for it. Because of the asphyxiation debuff, you want to be at maximum HP. You should be getting, you know, Power Word Shield and HOTS and everything else, and be healed to full before you get hit. But you always want to be able to help your healers out, help people out. It just makes the game easier. You know, just go ahead and have Frost Ward ready. So right now there's not a whole lot to talk about because I'm just hanging out in Ice Tomb waiting on things to go. You know, we get broken out, you finish up the other ones, and now we're getting ready to transition her into her phase 3, which would be the 35% burn. As you can see, we stack up on the back left leg, and there's the Unchained Magic, and yeah, so I move away from the raid, but it didn't really help much. But come back in, Ice Block's still on cooldown. I'm just going to start wanding because there's not a whole lot that I can do here. As you can see in the top right on my power auras, I do have the time left on Unchained Magic. It pulses every time between 2 and 3. So what you can do, and what you'll see me doing later on in this video, is DPSing from that time from 8 to 3. Once that time runs out, or it's usually around 8 to 4, I'll run behind the block, miss the one pulse, and come right back out and start DPSing. As a mage, I usually don't DPS Ice Tombs unless it's specifically called for, because that's the melee's job, and they really need to be up long enough for the tanks to get reset. That's really the key part for this. You'll also see me use Frost Ward in this anytime I get low, or the Health Stone, things like that. You know, try to help people out a little bit. So like you'll see me here, try to jump behind. Didn't do it very well that time because the Frost it died. That was a terrible example. And you know, you miss it, it's gonna get missed. It's gonna happen. And there's not a whole lot you can do to avoid it. Anyways, Ice Block's back up, so I know I'm ready for the next Unchained Magic. You just sit here, go back and forth, and DPS. I mean, this is really all there is to this encounter at this point, is you're going between the front leg and the back leg with Ice Tombs, allowing the tanks to taunt and reset, and sitting behind and DPSing Sindragosa. I blinked into the Frost Tomb right there. That was pretty sweet, right? You want to make sure the most critical point in phase 3 for you as a mage is going to be after the pulls, because you want to get back behind that block before it explodes and get your set reset, or your stack reset. It's going to be very important for you, especially if you're going for the achievement. That's going to be the only time there's really a problem. Outside of a grip, you really should never have more than 1 or 2 stacks of Mystic Buffet, because it's really easy with the amount of Frost Tombs that come out to get right behind them. It takes a little practice and takes some knowledge, or takes some experience, but it's not going to be an issue. You should maybe get to 3 or 4 when you get a grip, but even then, it's, I would say 3. There are times, and probably in this video, that I've gotten to 4. Really probably wasn't the best thing for me to do, and I probably didn't play it the right way. So anyways, at this point, we're getting closer towards the end. We're kind of thinking on Vent now about, hey, you know, let's go ahead and Zerg this and not even worry about resetting anything. I believe we kill this next tomb and then we go ahead and call Zerg, and at that point you just DPS as fast as you can on her. So that's pretty much all there is to it. You'll see here that I get Unchained Magic and forget Ice Block is off cooldown, and mostly because by the time I used the GCD, she would have been dead. Went ahead and did a little extra damage, blink away from the raid, and that's pretty much all there is to Sindragosa hard mode. Thank you very much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed the video, and please check out spikeflail.net for future videos.